The Beatles Rooftop Performance. It's great. And there's not much more I can say about it that hasn't already been said, so I'm just going to be having a little bit of fun with it today and describe that rooftop performance as the perfect example of the Beatles and their utter dominance. Now, I love that phrase, but I didn't come up with it. I'm borrowing that phrase from the author, David Hepworth. I heard him use it just a few days ago when he was referring to the Beatles and their legacy. And when I heard that, I go, oh my God, that is absolutely perfect. I'm going to be using it all the time now. You know, the Beatles and the utter dominance, where everybody and everything basically pales in comparison. So that rooftop performance begins when Paul steps out onto that roof. Ringo and Maureen and Billy Preston right behind him. John and George following just a few minutes later. And whenever I see that, I think of warriors or fighters stepping into the ring. But when it comes to the Beatles, we know and they know that they're going to win. Because no matter how hard they make it for themselves, no matter how hard anybody else makes it for them, they're going to win. That's that utter dominance. And that's how it's been for them right from the start. Pretty much any single, any album, it's going to go to number one. Any movie they make, any film they make, it's going to be a classic. Make a cartoon or Yellow Submarine, it's going to be a classic. They are breaking attendance records and setting attendance records on tour. Any TV appearance, it's iconic. And then when they stop touring and they go in the studio and everybody says, oh, the Beatles are all washed up. Oh, the Beatles are going to break up. They surprise everybody and they change the world, with Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. And then they create this iconic moment. And they bring the whole world together by singing All You Need Is Love live on the first international satellite broadcast. And then I guess that's not enough for them because in 1968, they are discovering new territory, expanding their mind, reinventing themselves. It's with them, it's always, one thing after another. And so they come up with this 7.5 minute long song and they're told, oh, the radio, the DJs aren't going to play it. And they say, oh, they will if it's us because utter dominance. And with the Beatles, it's always iconic song, iconic moment after iconic moment. So here we are at this iconic moment, the Apple Rooftop, January 30th, 1969, and the Beatles are kind of warming up and maybe they're excited. I'm sure that they're excited and they're probably also a little bit nervous, but the energy and the excitement just builds with each performance. Get Back, Don't Let Me Down, I've Got a Feeling, One After 909, Dig a Pony, and even the subsequent performances of these songs. They're all amazing. And they give us so much with that rooftop performance. And because, why? Because each one of these guys is giving their all, even more than their all. They love each other. They're all very tight. And this is what they've been working on, all month long. This is what they've been shooting for, this live performance. It's all on, and they do love a challenge. And they also know that they're courting danger here. They're courting trouble, by being up on the roof, something that they probably shouldn't be doing. Just like Michael Lindsay Hogg doing stuff he probably shouldn't be doing by having the camera people over on the roof. I mean, it's just, something's going to happen, guys. Something, they all know something is going to happen. And when I was looking over, a lot of these rooftop photos, there was this one photo that was taken, of the Apple rooftop from the rooftop across the street. And in this photo, it looks like John is looking right at the cameraman. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't, but it sure looks like he is. And it looks like Paul, George, and Ringo are watching John perform. And it made me think of this other iconic photo of John when he's performing, back in 1957 at a Village Fete. And there he is with a quarryman on the back of that truck. And he's looking straight at the cameraman. Someone took his photo, and the other quarrymen are looking right at John. Iconic moment after iconic moment. Each one of these guys is bringing so much to that rooftop performance, and they're all dominating in their own way. For instance, Ringo. I love watching Ringo on the rooftop. He is so exciting. He is drumming with authority. He is like a machine. He's driving that bus forward. He's giving everybody exactly what they need. He's keeping an eye on everything, and he's also feeling his way through. Plus, he's absolutely having a blast with these guys. He could just keep on going forever and ever it appears. And George might not have wanted to be on the roof in the first place, but he certainly did want to perform these songs live somewhere because this is what they've been working for. And he loves this band. He loves these guys. He loves what they're doing. He digs all of these songs, and he really shows up. Him and his guitar, they really show up on that roof in a way I think he probably didn't show up in the studio, because when he's up there on that roof, I mean, he is on some other level. Him and his guitar, it's absolutely titillating. And he propels the rest of them, all the way up into the stratosphere. And Paul. I mean, what can I say about Paul McCartney on the roof that day? I mean, he's like this windblown beast, this magnificent beast on the rooftop. He's screaming and he's shouting and he's singing and he's playing and he's moving around. He's electrifying, and everything that he says and does. I mean, you just can't keep your eyes off of Paul McCartney. I mean, what are we talking about here? Now, John might have been a little bit cold or a little bit tired when he first got out on the roof, but after a while, he remembers that he's John Lennon. And he plugs in, and all that charisma, all that stage presence, all that magnetism, it shows up. And when he sings Don't Let Me Down, he goes to that other level. He becomes that Pied Piper. And when he's singing those high notes, that magnetism, it envelops the other three, and they all start dancing to John's tune. When he's singing those high notes, I just love watching them perform Don't Let Me Down because of that. And I don't think I've seen John Lennon any happier than when he's performing Dig a Pony. Unless they're performing One After 909 and it's like they're all kids again with that song. There's something special about each and every one of those rooftop songs, like Get Back. Get Back is like their fight song up on the roof. Don't Let Me Down, that's a very different sound for them. It's a very special John songs. I love the sound of it. That's when John becomes that Pied Piper. And I've Got a Feeling, that's when Paul and John, they tag team. That's very special whenever that happens. And actually, they all bring something special to that song. And One After 909 and I Dig a Pony. Dig a Pony. Why is Dig a Pony special? Because that's John just having fun. It's all just noise. It's like John, like in his own right. And why the hell not? Basically, that whole rooftop situation is why the hell not? We're the Beatles. The energy on the rooftop just continues to build and build. The Beatles are having a blast. They know they're asking for trouble. And then before you know it, trouble shows up during that second performance of Don't Let Me Down. And there's the cops right there stepping out of that doorway onto the roof. And one by one, the Beatles notice them. But what do? I think it just kind of eggs them on. And John and Paul, they max shout even more. They love it. They love trouble. It's like they're kids again. And what happens next is they break in to Get Back, and the cops go, okay, we can't have this. And the cops try unplugging the Beatles. Well, no, that's never going to work because this is Beatles territory and it's their domain and they have utter dominance and they make the rules. You guys get the heck out of here. We're plugging back in. We're doing exactly what we want to do. And Paul, what does Paul do? Paul gives us this another iconic moment when he ad-libs during Get Back and he sings the cops right off the roof and he sings, "You've been singing on the roof again and your mama don't like it and you're going to get arrested." It's an iconic moment. And then they give each other, the body language that says, okay, we're done. We've done exactly what we set out to do. We broke the rules. We triumphed again. It's like utter dominance. And then John gives us that one last iconic moment when he steps up to the microphone and he says, "I'd like to say thank you on behalf of the group and ourselves, and I hope we pass the audition." Utter dominance. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I really and truly appreciate it. And until next time, peace and love one another. Take care.
It's Beatles is Beatles, Beatle. In the end, it's like, oh, sod off with the Beatles,